What's up guys, you're back with Technic, and today we'll be doing a charging speed test between these 8 monsters of phones. And first up we have the Oppo Reno Ace with the highest wattage charger I've ever seen at 65 watts and a 4000 mAh battery. All of these phones are in order of their wattage in power supply, not necessarily their milliamp hour battery. Then next we have the Realme X2 Pro with a 50 watt charger and a 4000 mAh battery as well. Though the charger is not as big as the Oppo's, it should do really well based on what I've seen. Then next up we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and no, it doesn't come paired in the box. You do have to go out and buy a 45 watt charging block, but they have never had a 45 watt charging capabilities, and they do over here, paired with a 4300 mAh battery. So it should be pretty interesting to see how the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 stacks up compared to the Realme and the Oppo. Next up we have the Vivo Nex 3 5G. This has a 4500 mAh battery and a 44 watt charging block, which does come included in the box, which is really cool to see. This is an absolutely awesome phone because of that waterfall display, and it looks really awesome overall. Then next we have the OnePlus 7T with a 30 watt charger. This is a warp charger in the box and a smaller 3800 mAh battery compared to the rest that we are testing out today. Next up we have the ROG Phone 2, and if you do get the baseline version from China, you don't get the 30 watt adapter in the box, but the international version you do. So we have a 30 watt charging block and a 6000 mAh battery, the biggest battery out of all of these phones here. So it will be really interesting to see how long this does actually take compared to the iPhone's 18 watts. Then we have the Red Magic 3S by Nubia with a 27 watt charger in the box, and we have a 5000 mAh battery, the second highest of the test, the highest being the ROG Phone 2. So it will be really interesting to see how these gaming phones stack up against each other. And then last over here we have the iPhone 11 Pro Max with an 18 watt charger, which is pretty subpar, but thank goodness this year it came in the box with a 3969 mAh battery, pretty much 4000. Guys, these are all awesome phones. I can't wait to see who comes out on top. This is Technic, and without further ado, let's go. So I know there's a lot going on the screen over here, but at the bottom you guys can see the branding as well as the percentages that we're at, and the percentages are ranked based on the interval timers at the top. As you guys can see, the interval timer will switch. All the phones are on because the iPhone automatically turned on, and I have put flight mode and all other settings off on the phone, so they're barely trickling battery. As you guys can see, the interval timer at the top there, it is hours and then minutes, so we're on the first 5 minutes. 25% on the Oppo in 5 minutes is incredible, 20% on the Realme, 14% on the Samsung, 13 on the Vivo, 8 on the OnePlus, 9 on the Asus, 10 on the Red Magic 3S, and 11 and 8 on the 11 Pro Max. After 10 minutes, we have over 50% on the Oppo. That is absolutely incredible, guys. 42%, not too far behind on the Realme, 25% on the Note 10 Plus, 25 on the Vivo as well, 21 on the 7T, 17 on the ROG Phone 2, 18 on the 3S, and on the 11 Pro we have 17%. Then after that 15-minute interval mark, we have 69% on the Oppo, almost hitting 100% just after 15 minutes. I cannot believe that, guys. Not too far behind. 60 on the Realme, 37 Samsung, 34 Vivo, and it keeps going down to 24 on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is not too far behind the Red Magic 3S and ROG Phone 2, though they do have much bigger batteries. Then after the 20-minute interval over here, we have 86% on the Oppo Reno Ace, 78% it is now catching up with the Oppo, the Realme X2 Pro, 48, almost 50 on the Samsung, which is really impressive after 20 minutes compared to their predecessor phones. 31% on the iPhone is dragging along there just behind the ROG Phone 2. Then after a couple more minutes, on 25 minutes, we have 97%, almost hitting 100% on the Oppo. That SuperVOOC charging 2.0 is absolutely incredible, and SuperVOOC right behind it with the Realme is only 4% behind that. Comparing it to the iPhone with a very similar battery, just 39% there after 25 minutes. And then after 27 minutes, almost 28 minutes over here, you guys can see that the Oppo is about to clock out. It clocks out at 100% over there, and we have 28 minutes final on the Oppo and 99% on the Realme, and that just clocked out at 29 minutes over there. So only 1 minute behind, but there's a 15 wattage difference between the two phones, and they have the same battery size. So honestly, the Realme is pretty much the same charging speed as the Oppo. That 15 watt charging only really seemed to make much of a difference in the beginning of the test. Later on in the test, didn't make much of a difference at all. So now we're going to go ahead and hit on to that 40-minute interval mark. We have 86% in 40 minutes on the Note 10 Plus, which is really impressive. 78% on the Nex 3, 86 on the 7T, which is now caught up to the Samsung, 57 57 on the ROG Phone 2, 63 I'm impressed by the Red Magic 3S, and 61% overtaking the ROG Phone 2 with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now we're going to go ahead and hit onto that 50-minute interval over here. 93 on the Samsung, 87 on the Vivo, 95 on the 7T, which has now outdone the Samsung, but it does have a 500 mAh battery smaller than the Samsung. We have 72% on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Hitting that 50-minute mark over here, and we're about to see the next phone clock out here, which is indeed the OnePlus 7T, and it just hits 100% at 59 minutes, pretty much an hour since we're rounding up here because of the seconds. So we have an hour, which is double the time that we saw the Oppo and the X2 Pro clock out. I'm really impressed with those. There was a time where nothing could beat charging speeds of the OnePlus 7T, and with a 500 mAh battery bigger than the OnePlus 7T, the Samsung clocks out at 100% in just 3 minutes after the 7T. So in my opinion, the Samsung actually takes that third place spot over there, since just 3 minutes for an extra 500 milliamps, but it does have a 15 watt bigger charging block. We have the 11 Pro Max at 85% now after an hour and 10 minutes over there, and the ROG Phone 2 87 and 91% on the Red Magic 3S, and we just hit 100% at an hour and 13 minutes on the Vivo Nex 3 5G with a 4500 mAh battery. So 10 minutes later than the Samsung, but it has 200 more milliamp hour batteries in it. So we do see a pretty similar score over there. So I'm not too impressed with it, though an hour and 13 minutes is extremely fast for a 4500 mAh battery. Now we're hitting the hour and 30 minute mark, and as you guys see on the hour 30 minute mark, we have 97% on the ROG Phone, 98% on the 3S, but it has a 1000 mAh battery smaller than the ROG Phone, and 94% on the iPhone. Now we're going to be hitting onto an hour and 36 minutes here for the Red Magic 3S to clock out at 100% with its 27 watt charger and 5000 mAh battery. And then we hit that hour and 40 minute mark over here, 99% on the ROG Phone 2, which has a 2000 mAh battery bigger than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is sitting at 96%. Then after an hour and 46 minutes, we have the ROG Phone 2 clock out at 100% thanks to that wonderful green glowing LED there, which is only 10 minutes slower than the 3S, though we do have a 1000 mAh difference between the two. Now we're going to just go ahead and speed up this test right until the iPhone clocks out, and the 11 Pro Max clocks out at 2 hours and 6 minutes. That is insanely slow, guys. Yes, it is 18 watts and a 4000 mAh battery, but I was sure that it would come in earlier than that mark. So we do have in 8th place the iPhone 11 Pro Max with 2 hours and 6 minutes. It does have the lowest wattage charge over here, so I wasn't really surprised by this. In 7th place we have the Asus ROG Phone 2 with an hour and 46 minutes, which is really impressive considering it has a 2000 mAh battery bigger difference compared to the iPhone. Then we have in 6th place the Red Magic 3S with an hour and 36 minutes with a 5000 mAh battery. That is still really fast charging if you have to ask me, guys. In 5th place we're going to move on to the Vivo Nex 3 5G in an hour and 13 minutes. That is extremely fast with 44 watts and the biggest battery compared to the other phones that came in 4th all the way up to 1st place. Talking about 4th place, we have the Galaxy Note 10 Plus with an hour and 3 minutes, which is really impressive with that 45 watt charger, though you do have to buy that externally after you buy the phone, so that's a bit of a bummer. In 3rd place we have the OnePlus 7T with just an hour exactly, 30 watt warp charging and a 3800 mAh battery, which is smaller than the 2nd and 1st place, and it is slower too. In 2nd place we have the Realme X2 Pro in just 29 minutes, guys. That is ridiculously fast with a 50 watt charger and a 4000 mAh battery. In 1st place we do have the Oppo Reno Ace, though this does have a 15 watt charger difference compared to the Realme X2 Pro, but just 1 minute faster than that with the same battery. I must say it's pretty much a tie in that department. Now if they were all 4000 mAh batteries, guys, the Galaxy S10 Note 10 Plus would come in 3rd, the 7T would drop to 4th, and the ROG Phone would jump up and the 3S would jump down. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this test as much as I did making it. Until next time, guys, this is Technic.